So the Weirdie with the Beardie's back, and I'm going to do an assessment of the markets, which I've been selling my books at this weekend, starting with today and then go back to yesterday. Today was at Denver Windmill. It's not Denver in the USA, unfortunately. It's Denver near Downham Market in Norfolk. This picture here was taken just as the market was opening. It looks a very remote place and a very quiet place, and unfortunately it is that. I'd never been here before. It's 60 miles from where I live. I'd never even been to the area before. But so I knew Pam and Lizzie, who were running it, from doing different markets, and they did an amazing job of trying to advertise. They are very new to this. This is only their second event and only the second one here. All of the stall holders here were fully aware that these lovely ladies were just learning about what they're doing, and they're very keen to improve their advertising for the next event, which is on the 12th of November. I've certainly been offered a place there again at next month's market. Unfortunately, I won't be there in December. I don't know about next month yet. That isn't because it was bad. That was purely because it's a 60-mile drive for me, and I sold quite a few books there, and the people who bought those books aren't going to want to buy the same books again next time. So what I tend to do with these ones that are a longer drive away is to go back in a few months when I've got a new book out. However, they are quite keen for me to come along next time, so I may well do that. I'm not sure yet. Depends on whether I can find somewhere closer. Here are some shots of some of the outside stalls. Some of the outside stall holders were very helpful, helping me put my gazebo up, but it was because it was broken yesterday, so we had to do a bit of a fix up on it, with a couple of us holding it together while we taped it up. We have the Dog's Bakery here. Ironically, I don't think I've got the shot of the cake stall next to her. A lovely lady called Rebecca, who makes amazing cakes, and she hates cake. Will not eat it. I mean, I don't eat cake either, but so it's amazing to find a cake maker who doesn't eat cake. This lady here is also a carer. If you didn't know, I'm a carer as well. That's my main job. And the lady sat just out of shot here makes some lovely model houses. And last but not least, with a somewhat less impressive stall, mainly because my stand broke and I had to get some little stands and stuff like that. It's me. You know what? And I sold 7 books just through going out, talking to people, handing leaflets out. My stall might not look the most impressive, but I managed to make sales. So on to yesterday's market. If anyone's still watching at Tivitshall, my gazebo broke within the first few minutes. I was putting the pegs in. It got picked up by the wind, smacked into a tree. I think it even caught me on the head on the way past, because I was pretty dazed for the rest of the day, didn't really know what was going on, and had a really bad headache, and then really kind of thought maybe afterwards that I'd been hit by the gazebo. But it wasn't great, and I ended up going inside. I was lucky enough that someone had given up their table because their husband was ill, and they let me in there. And a lot of the stall holders outside claimed it wasn't very busy, but inside it was absolutely heaving with people. But the thing was, most of them had come to just sit and drink tea with their friends and eat cake and stuff like that. They hadn't come to buy anything. And a lot of people were just walking past and saying, "I'm not looking, I'm just buying. I'm not buying, I'm just looking." I don't know. And whatever I was meant to say there. They were purposefully not buying anything, not even trying to look at anything. So a few people spoke to me for a long, long time about my books and then decided to tell me that they weren't readers. I really appreciate it if people tell me that they don't read before letting me tell them about my book, because I would rather save the aggro of telling them about my books if I know they're not going to read it, and I like people being honest about that. So a few people were like that. There was one lady who was very keen to say that she was looking, but she wasn't. She was just rushing past. She done the whole, "I'm looking, I'm already looking," but she was actually sort of doing this and jiggling as if to move on before I spoke to her. So I sold 2 copies of Maria's Photograph there and 1 copy of A Midwinter Night's Dream. Going back to today, completely the opposite. Well, I sold 4 copies of Maria's Photograph and 3 copies of part 1 of Derailed and Dispersed. Didn't sell any of the second parts, the second, third, fourth part of the series. The people who were buying them today wanted to buy 1 part and see how they got on and see if they wanted the second part. I did offer them the whole series for £16 when it should actually be £20 because each book is £5, but they wanted to do, which is fair enough, they wanted to take the first book and see if they liked the rest, and I think that's a good decision because, you know, if you're going to buy all of the books, you might hate the first one and never want to read the rest of them, so I can completely understand that, but I've now totally run out of book 1, so I need to order more of book 1 to go with the rest of the books that I've got, because I've got like 7 copies of book 2, 2 copies of book 3, 2 copies of book 4, and so on, and, you know, and no copies of book 1, so and I've got another event next week. So this is going on YouTube as well because it's been a bit longer. I think you've probably had enough of me right now. I am going to be at an event at Brundle next week. It's a mind, body and spirit event, and it's at Brundle Community Centre. I believe the time is 10 till 4, but no one who's going there is going to watch my TikToks anyway, so yeah, we've gone on for 7 minutes now. I think you're going to be bored. See you later.